Shelly, I got to ask you, first time I ever played against you in Montreal, I was my second year in the league. I was in Tampa. You guys beat us, and I was waiting out the room, and you came walking down to the Habs room, and you had this fucking fur jacket on, and you had the hair going, and I'm like, first of all, where is he going? And second of all, fuck, do I wish I could go with him. But how was Montreal, man? Not too late, but it must have been because you played hard and you were stud, and then that was my favorite road city, Bonanote, buddy. I love it there.
And you had Theo in his prime there too, eh? You two just savages,
buddy. Well, it's a good thing that he was French and I was English, because then there was enough room for all of us, right? Yeah. If I would have been French, he would have hated me, and if he was English, I would have hated him. Man, it was awesome. Coming from a place like Jersey, where things were really structured, and they are maybe the best organization in the league, or they for sure were at that time. But so you fly private and you stay at all the nicest. So they were doing that before the PA made all these changes. And so really great organization, but really felt like I was being babysat all the time, So I go to Montreal, growing up where we grew up, you were either an Oilers fan or a Flames fan. You weren't really like a Montreal fan. You weren't a Toronto fan. You kind of hated those teams. At least that's how it was in my house. So when I got traded to Montreal, I'm like, fuck, when I told you I got traded and I was flying that night from Boston, all I could think about was like, how am I going to look in a blue helmet? Like, I like the black helmet, So I got to wear a blue helmet. And I got there, man, and we had great guys. We sucked, but we had like Weinrich and Scott Chance and Linden and Corson. So it was fun as soon as I got there, and it was a real wake up call because I got traded kind of at the deadline that year, and so I only played I think maybe 15 or 19 games, but it was like a wake up call. Like, whoa, dude, this is like the NHL. Like, this to me was like, oh, this is a different thing because of the crowd and how many people were wearing like Montreal Canadiens things to the games and the way they were producing it. So immediately I just felt like, and like I said, the management was different. I felt like I could just kind of be myself a little more. And I wasn't looking at like I'd be there forever. Right. I thought they'd get tired of me, and I'm not I'm not a French guy. So they'd probably just trade me anyway. So it was such short-term stuff that ended up, I loved it. If you can play there, you can play anywhere. Yeah, right? It's gonna show you right away.
Same as Vancouver, man. And I loved my 2 years in Van. I wish I could have stayed longer. There was reasons why I couldn't, but if you can play in the Canadian market, especially Montreal, then you can handle anything. And how did you like the media there and dealing with that? Did you kind of intimidate them and they left you alone, or how was the media when you played there?
The media was okay. I think, when I got there, I was having, up to that point, my career was much different than it ended up being. So I think there was a little expectation out of me, and so they weren't, like the first year or two, they weren't really, I got hurt right away. So I don't think there was a whole lot of expectation on me. So I was just kind of like, when I would do media, I didn't hate it. I kind of embraced it. And like I said, I was just kind of wanted to be a good guy, because I seen that if you don't get along with the media there, they can make life tough on you, right? And so I'm like, well, I don't need any more stress in my life, so I'll be good with these guys. I'm an English guy. I only have to deal with one kind of reporter. It wasn't like I didn't have to do interviews in French and English. So right away, I was like pretty comfortable with it. And I kind of grew up as a professional in that city, and I kind of grew up with those people, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't Jose Theodore. He had a lot of expectation on him, and I didn't, so it was different for me.